Hey y'all, it is Kandi and I am just cuddling with my puppy right now, and I decided to do a quick video on some non-scale victories that I've had since starting the carnivore diet in January. So these are in no particular order as far as what I saw first. It's just things that I have noticed along the way. So one of the things is tinnitus. I have had ringing in my ears ever since I got the COVID vaccine. So when COVID was hot and heavy, it became mandatory at my work to get the COVID vaccine, and you had a deadline where you had to get the vaccine by. So I decided to take the plunge and get it because I wanted to keep my job. I didn't want to lose my insurance. And so I decided to get the vaccine, and ever since I got the vaccine, I've been having ringing in my ears. So by going carnivore, that has helped the tinnitus. I'm assuming it's because it reduces inflammation. I did go see the doctor several times over the problems that I was having with my ears, but there was nothing that they could do for me, is what they said. They did give me a prescription of something, but it just sounded a bit hokey and like that wasn't even going to help, so I didn't even fill the prescription. Another thing that I noticed is that I have less earwax. Now I know that's kind of weird, but I don't know why that happens. But I noticed that when I clean my ears out with Q-tips, there is way less wax in there. I am an avid Q-tip user. I love Q-tips. When I get out of the shower, I love the way it feels in my ear to clean my ears with Q-tips. And I just don't have as much to clean out. I mean, there was never a whole bunch, but now it's like next to nothing in there. So another thing that I've noticed is less eye floaters. I have been having eye floaters for as long as I can remember, and some of them are really long and they go like directly in front of my vision, and then every time you try to look at it, it floats away and floats away. So I had a really long one that looked just like a snake going through my vision for years, and that one I don't even notice it anymore. So every once in a while I will still see floaters, but they are greatly diminished. I can't even tell you. It's weird. So the eye floaters have almost gone away, even though they're still there. So I'm hoping the longer I continue that will be gone. Now, I was never diagnosed with irritable bowel syndrome, but I did suffer from, all of a sudden I would get nauseous and I would feel like I needed to go to the bathroom. And then I'd try to go to the bathroom and I couldn't, and it would make me feel more nauseous. And so eventually I would end up throwing up and going to the bathroom at the same time. And these spouts would come out of nowhere. I never did really link it with any particular food that I ate. When I did see the doctor about it, he told me that I had what was called abdominal migraines. I don't know if it was that, if it was irritable bowel syndrome, but that has gone away. I have not had one of those episodes for a very, very long time. I've always dealt with what I believed were to be blackheads on my nose. My pores just always seemed clogged, no matter if I washed my face or what I ate or what I did. My nose pores always seemed to be really clogged. And another thing it would do is make my makeup go on really bumpy over my nose. My pores seem less clogged on my nose, and I'm hoping that the longer I do this, that will go away as well. So have y'all ever heard of keratosis pilaris? I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but basically that's where you get like bumps on your skin. Particularly it happens like on your elbows and on your upper thighs, and people call it chicken skin. So I used to have that as well, and that has basically gone away. It used to be really bad right here. And then some people get it up here as well. I do not suffer from that anymore, and I attribute that to the carnivore diet. So I did mention earlier that I suffered from migraines and had went to see the doctor. So this was many, many years ago, and I was having migraines after I had fell and hit my head. And these migraines started coming up about a month later. So I was having these migraines nonstop all day long, and the doctor ended up prescribing me Topamax. So if y'all have ever heard of Topamax, another nickname for it that people say is called Dopamax, because they say it makes people dopey and it makes them lose their train of thought and have a hard time recalling words. And I noticed that did start happening to me. It still does a little bit, but my mental clarity is getting a lot better. I noticed when I am, let's say for example, at work, I can take on tasks and tackle them and move on to the next one very quickly. It does not take me a long time to get things done. That is one of the great benefits of the carnivore diet. For years and years and years, like forever basically, I always was itchy, and if somebody touched me, I'd be like, okay, scratch it. You need to scratch right there, especially on my back. I tell you what, I would always say I would rather go get scratched at a salon than get a massage. It just felt so good to just be scratched, and the harder the better. I don't know what it is, and I've never heard anybody else talk about this or having it improve with a carnivore diet, but in this last year I've noticed that I am hardly asking my husband to scratch my back. I mean, yes, it still feels good to have a good scratch every once in a while, but it is nothing like it used to be before. It used to be just like this really strong urge, like, no, somebody needs to get that right now. I would all the time, every day, I would suffer from itchy skin, and that really has basically gone away. And another thing, kind of on the same as itchy skin, but there's something else to it. And this is kind of gross, but my scalp would itch, okay? I wouldn't have dandruff, but my scalp would itch, and it would feel so good when I scratched it. But then I would notice that I would feel like little pimples up in my hairline. You couldn't see them, but I could feel like a bump. And if I scratched it, I could feel that maybe it popped a little bit. So I don't know what it was, but it was always there. It got worse if I ate more sugar and carbs. The minute that I went carnivore, it's gone. I don't get that anymore. I do not get the little bumps and pimples and things in my scalp. So like I said, I don't know what it was. I'm assuming it was, all the bad stuff I was eating. So it does some weird stuff to your body. So it's gross to say, but I had these little pimples on my head, and you couldn't see them, but I could feel them. And when I scratched my head, I could feel them pop. So I'm glad that that's gone, because I do not want to be having no pimples on my head. I have noticed that I have a lot more patience, especially in the work area. Things still do get on my nerves, but I have way more patience than I used to. When dealing with people that may not understand the job or need things explained to them multiple times, my patience does not run out like it used to. And I am sure that they are glad about that, the same as I am glad about that. It just causes you a lot less anxiety if you're not just running out of patience every 30 minutes at somebody. So it's really, really improved with the carnivore diet. Farting, we have to talk about that, because I know y'all have dealt with it. I'm not saying I never fart, but when I do, it's not stinky, and it's hardly ever. There's something about the food that you eat that gives you gas when you're eating all those vegetables and sugars and carbs. But when you're just eating meat, I guess your body's just using it all up, and you don't have that buildup of gas like you used to on the standard American diet. So you're not, walking around having the walking farts or farting in your sleep or anything like that, worried about farting at work when you're going pee, none of that. So I am extremely thankful that, I don't have to really fart anymore. My sugar cravings have gone down tremendously, especially since I ended up giving up artificial sweeteners. I'm not saying I never get cravings, and I'm not saying that I can't appreciate the thought of a cookie or a cake, and I think that that sounds delicious, but I don't have that craving and that tremendous desire that I have to eat it. So I am faced every day at work with free food that is nothing but junk, and I have the strength to say no. I'm not sitting there at my desk thinking about the cupcakes and the pastries and the Rice Krispie treats and chips and the sodas and all of that other stuff. So the carnivore diet really helps with cravings and with the head hunger and the food noise that you experience. And I would highly suggest, if you are doing the carnivore diet and you're still including artificial sweeteners and you are struggling still with cravings that come on at a drop of a hat and are strong sometimes, give up those artificial sweeteners. It's really hard to give them up, but once you do and you get over that hump, it really helps reduce the food noise and the cravings even more. I suffer from something that's called benign fasciculations. That's a big word, but it basically means twitching. So I will have twitches in my muscles and in weird spots constantly all day. It goes hand in hand with spinal muscular atrophy. I know now that that's why I'm having these benign fasciculations, but I've noticed that since I went carnivore, they are less. Even though I still have them and I still have them every day, I do not have them to the extent that I used to. So one of the non-scale victories that I have is that I'm wearing smaller sizing clothes. So that is good. A lot of times it seems like it takes forever to go down in a size. And we recently had an event at my work and they were giving away t-shirts and they asked me, what size t-shirt. And I told them I wanted an extra large. And the lady that was handing out the t-shirt says, oh, we only have large left. And I thought, okay, I'll take a large because, at least I can work into getting into that size. Well, lo and behold, I went home and tried it on and it fit and it was not tight and it had some baggy room to it. So that made me extremely happy. I didn't think I was there, but I had went down a size in my shirt. So yay. There's one more thing that is very exciting that has happened. I know a lot of ladies suffer from this. I have heard about it being improved with the carnivore diet, but I didn't think that I personally would see improvement, but I have. So that is spider veins. My spider veins, I have them particularly bad in my right leg, and those have really started to get a lot lighter. I have a side-by-side picture, so I will put that up so you guys can see, but the spider veins have lightened up, and I'm hoping that the longer I do it, the more lighter they'll get. Maybe they'll even go away. And the number one improvement that I saw that happened almost immediately was my pain. I had horrible joint pain. It was like arthritis pain and nerve pain. And that, after being on the carnivore diet for probably 3 or 4 days, I started to see that it really started going away. And now I hardly ever have pain. I will have the normal aches and pains, but it's not an everyday thing. The carnivore diet is wonderful for reducing your inflammation, and that in turn will make a lot of your pain go away. Now that is just a short compilation of things that I have noticed that are non-scale victories since being on the carnivore diet. I am sure there are more, but I just can't think of them right now. And if you guys have had any improvement after being on the carnivore diet, let me know in the comments down below. It's such an eye-opener that what we eat really does affect our body in a negative way. It's things that you wouldn't even attribute to your diet that get better. So we really need to get the word out there and let people know that what you're eating really does affect the way you feel and your aches and your pains and diseases. People just don't know. They don't know that what you eat really does affect you like that. And that's because the doctors in the media and the people that are our teachers in life and supposed to know and help us out, they don't tell us. Either they don't know or they choose not to tell us for whatever reason. So if all the little people in the world like you and like me, if we can get together and just spread the word to 1 or 2 people, it's going to have a snowball effect. And before we know it, we're going to have more and more people that are on their way to a healthier lifestyle and feeling so much better. Thank you for joining me here today, y'all, and I hope to see you here next time. And until then, stop eating processed foods.